All right, everyone. Welcome to the final episode of Survivor 46. Welcome to the Royalty Podcast. I am your host, Derek Frazier. And of course, as promised, as I've been waiting for this icon, this legend, probably since Traders, okay, I have Sandra Diaz-Twine, of course, the Survivor Queen herself. And I just wanted to first say, this is so cool to have you here. And I've been waiting so long to talk to you. And I just can't believe, like, that you're here, okay? Of course. Now, Sandra, I'm going to read off, like, every season, okay? I just want people to know, because I don't think people understand. When I tell people, I'm like, the queen of Survivor, you're the only queen that I know of Survivor. And also, not even Survivor. I just want to say, like, competition shows in general, just in case people don't know. But Sandra has been on Pearl Island, Heroes versus Villain, Game Changers, Winter at War, and then also Blood versus Water.
And Island of the Idols for 36 days.
Oh, and okay, excuse me, and Idol of the Idols for 36 days, and then just to kind of sprinkle that in, Traders Season 2. Sandra,
And
thank you so.
Australian Survivor Season 7 with my daughter, which was a Blood versus Water.
Oh, okay. So you,
160. So when you say the queen, I'm the queen, but there's a lot of queens on Survivor. I'm going to give
of
everybody their
course.
due because we have a lot of queens, but the queen, 166 days worth of starving and being miserable. Yep, I did it.
That's in. That's, oh my god, that's insane. That's literally insane. Okay, well, let me tell you this. Thank you so much for joining. I truly appreciate it. Let me just start by saying, how are you? How have you been? What have you been up to? Please, like, tell us everything. Tell us everything,
Well,
please.
as you know, I got home about 15 minutes ago from the airport. I flew out of San Diego yesterday. I was having a mini reunion with Krista and Rupert, which were my original alliance from 2003 Pearl Islands. And my flight got delayed. So by the time I landed in Atlanta, I knew my plane was gone. I spent the night there and had to wait for my first flight out. And then we had pushed our Zoom from 12 o'clock to 4:30, and at 4:15, because again my flight was late, I'm not going to say I was like dodging and darting because then my husband
Come
will
on,
hear me,
dodging and
but
darting.
I was like, because I got a VA, so I was like, I ran in with my bags, peed, put on lipstick, and grabbed water, and here I am, ready to talk about season 46, talk about traders, talk about whatever you want.
Listen, I just want to tell you thank you so much, and this is great having you here. And I, like I said, please do know I'm not going to take up all your time. I know you have so much to do, family, things that are going on. I just appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be
Anytime you
here.
need me, you got my number. Call me. I'm not that difficult. I'm not that hard to get a hold of. Um,
Of course. Now wait, Sandra, I want to tell everybody the first time I met you was at Hearts of Reality, and I remember I sat down at the table, and you knew who I was, which to me just I
oh,
was
I
so
watch
good.
Big Brother. I'm a huge fan.
But that alone, just like, especially of me being like watching you throughout the years, knowing who you are, because, I got into Survivor late in the game. So to go back and watch seasons beforehand, to see you win Survivor, not once, but twice, it was just so like mind blowing when I sat down at the table and we had a conversation. And I just love, let me tell you something, I think if people don't know, you are such a real ass chick. Like, you are so real. You were so. I'm gonna tell you to your face. I am not gonna bullshit you. And when we sat down and talked, I remember just being like, I get it. I was like, I would trust Sandra in the
I'm a
game with my
social
life.
butterfly.
But you're
I'm a
just
social
so, but
butterfly.
you're just so you, and that's what I love the most. Like, because some people come on these shows and they put on characters and they try to be something they're not. I never
Mm-hmm.
got that. Especially my first time meeting you and just seeing how you interact with everybody. I was like, man, this woman is powerful. She is great. So
Thank
I
you.
just
See,
want
you
to tell
make
you
me
that.
feel good.
I just want you to understand that and know that,
Thank
okay? But
you.
of course, we're going to get into the game that 160 something days that you have played, Survivor 46. Now, when you first saw this cast, and of course, of course, I'll get into a little bit of traders later. I'm going to say that for a little bit later. I'm not going to take up too much time. But when you first saw this cast, what was your thoughts when you saw them?
For me, I always have people that I gravitate to immediately that I like, and then we have those people that sometimes they have to grow on you, like Carolyn last season. Um, so you have those kind of people like a Venus, but then little by little you start feeling for them, and you feel squishy in your heart for them. And then you have those that you're like, oh, I'm ready for you to go. Oh, you've been there one day too long. You know what I'm saying? Like you have those people, but I never pick my favorites until at least the merge when they've made it at least halfway through, and then I say, okay, that one I can get behind. And for me, it was Kenzie. Kenzie had my heart. I'm so happy
Really?
that she won. I
Mm-hmm.
met almost the whole entire cast of 46 last month in Atlanta,
Okay.
and Kenzie picked me up from the hotel. And so she took me to the Airbnb where most of them were still sleeping. And when we walked through the door, there was like two people up only, and they're screaming, and everybody comes out, and I just sat there for about a good hour or so, and they were just throwing questions at me, and I instantly fell in love with every single person on that cast, like personally. But Kenzie, above all, I was like watching her play, watching her growth, watching the entire tribe get just about demolished. um she won me over like quick. And so I was rooting for her. I was rooting for Charlie too, or even Maria, but I'm happy it was Kenzie.
I do agree with that. And it's just I can't imagine that was probably such a like a beautiful moment for them because it's like, because we watch all these, players like we learn from all these past players that are icons in the game of Survivor and Big Brother and really those only two shows I can really say. But other
Hmm.
than that, like we learned from you guys, so to have you there, it was probably such like a big mind blown for them. And I could see why, falling in love with Kenzie because of how she is. When she first said that she was a hairdresser, I was like, baby, threat, 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 gotta go. Her job is to talk. Her job is to get you to trust her with or doing your hair and talk about your life, and it's like you deal with all type of people, so it's like I just knew it. But I remember when she was first on that island, and I was kind of like, the way that she was moving, the way she kind of was like, she was cool to everybody, but she still was like, I'll take out anybody. Like she had this, I'm gonna take out anyone, even if it came down to Tiffany. That's what it felt like, and it was very interesting to see. But of
You know
course,
what? The
yeah,
episode that came out when I jumped into her car was the episode where Tiffany and Q are saying, like, every time she walks up, she's like, what are you talking about? 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 Right? And I get in the car and I say to her, did you realize that that's something you do? And she was like, yes, because I'm a hairdresser and I come in always on halfway these conversations. Someone's getting their hair done. So for me, it's very natural. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you? So, but it was just, it's one of those things where until you really see it, the way they played it out, what are you talking
you
about? What are
don't
you
really,
talking about? Yeah, because it's just customary to her. And
of course.
I was like, girl, right then I was like, oh, they watching you, but still, she made it to the end.
She did. She did. Okay, so we have our top five. Okay, we're down to every top five. Yeah, it's top five. Okay, we have Liz, we have Maria, we have Charlie, we have
Ben.
Mackenzie, and then we have Ben. Okay, with this top five, let me just ask you because of course we could recap the episode and all that, but my thing is that having you here and your knowledge, what is the most important thing when you are at this top five that you need to do in order to make it in those final seats at the end? What is the most important thing?
For me, at the time when I was playing, it was always to seem like I wasn't a threat, like you needed me. And that I would be there as a number to help you get to the end and win, knowing that, hey, but when we get there, and if I get there, I got a lot to say and a lot to add to the conversation. So when I'm looking at these final five, I was like, okay, so Kenzie has a story. Charlie and Maria's story are just the same, but Charlie just finished taking her out. Ben doesn't have too much of a story, and I felt like Liz wanted too much credit for stuff to where she lost focus. And we see that for the very first time on Survivor, where someone is so upset about a move they make and where other people are taking credit for it. Where I feel like she lost sight of what she was trying to do. Um, but overall, between that five, Charlie and Kenzie had the best stories, and that was it.
100. I will agree with that, but I also would like to add Maria out of that top five that I felt like had good stories as a
Oh yeah, Maria
clear.
too, but I
No,
was
it's okay.
already
I know
voting
what you're
her out.
thinking. No, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. We're gonna get into that. I definitely agree with that storyline. Those top three: Maria, Charlie, Liz. I'm sorry, not Liz. Maria, Charlie,
And
and Kenzie
Kenzie.
had the best storylines, and I do agree with you saying making sure your relationships are good at that point to make sure you can set yourself at the end. I think another thing that you kind of mentioned was I don't people taking credits for things that they did. Like, is it really that big of a? Because here's the thing: if somebody goes out the game that maybe you were working with, and you feel like in your heart, myself, I did this move with this person, but this person's not in the game no more. Is it wrong to take that credit? Like, I feel like
No,
if you're
you
not
could
there
take the
no
credit, but
more.
you have to be careful because they're back in the jury and they're talking. Had Maria made it to as far as she
Mm,
did, they would have automatically lost to her. So they were
okay.
right to take out Maria was right to take out Charlie. Charlie was right to try to take out Maria because
Yeah.
they had similar you couldn't distinguish one between the other with the exception that Maria had won all those immunities. She had won three immunities. But that goes to show you that the minute you lose,
Hmm.
hey, if I sit next to her, I automatically lose. And if I make sure everyone understands, hey, if you're sitting next to her, you automatically lose. That person has to go. Then we need to get together, vote them out, and figure it out moving forward. And that's what they did. So in taking out Maria, it opened the doors for the Charlie and Kenzie, what, 3 to 5 vote, because it was super close. And a lot of people said they weren't decided, until people
Yeah.
answered questions. And a lot of times it's like that. They're not 100% sure until they hear what you got to say.
Let me ask you something because I know you don't have experience with this because no, you always make it to the end. Can jury talk offline? Like, could they talk back at? Because I don't know what they have. Because I know for us, our jury members are in a house together. So I'm wondering, were they able to kind of interact with each other when they were?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they were
Absolutely.
kind of talking before they sat in front of Jeff, kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. So before how it worked for us, and every time I've been on Survivor, the times I've been voted out, when you get voted out, you go and you do a couple of confessionals, then the boat come and takes you finally back to Ponderosa for the very last time, and you're eating snacks, and you get there and they have this dinner spread, set up because you're ready to eat and they're ready to find out what happened after the last person got voted out. So if you had gotten voted
Okay.
out before me, I'd be saying like, "Oh my God, Derek, this happened and this happened and this happened," because you have a lot of questions like, "Why am I here? What happened? What did I miss?" So I'm the person that's going to give you the insight into what's been going on and why I might have gotten voted out until we wait for the next person. So yeah, and then we sit there and we do things together. You pass the time because there ain't crap to do on those little islands. You're just stuck there. So all we're doing is hashing out and reliving and oh my God, I wish I would have done this. I regret not doing this. And so you sit there and then you say, okay, well, we're gonna make the decision as to who's gonna win. What do we know? What do we need to go? How do we make this a decision about the best player winning versus me being butthurt because I got voted out?
Okay, so that's very interesting. So I'm glad to know that because I didn't know if it was like one of those things where it's kind of like you guys only get a chance to talk when you're there. It sounds just like how when we were in Big Brother, even though they would tell people, in jury like don't talk about the game unless the camera's on or something like that. And I'm like, baby, there's no way. They definitely talked about their decisions and what they're gonna do and things like that. Now, I just want to kind of, because we're recapping. We ain't gotta go into detail because this thing was 3 hours, Sandra, 3 hours long. Okay,
Trust me,
but I
I know.
want to get, girl. I was like, girl, just get to it, baby. Like that's a lot. I want to get to the first challenge. Okay, the first challenge. I always say it's always an obstacle course. There's always a
Puzzle.
puzzle at the end. But the thing about this puzzle, is they get to this puzzle, they have to put it together, but then there's like a riddle that comes with it, like a math equation, where they had to figure out how many numbers were in the hole, and I guess like in the beginning of
Plank. How many
the
holes in the
plank.
plank?
Yeah. Okay. I want to get to the main thing that everybody was talking about, and I want your feedback because when I was watching it last night, because I was at the Bryson Wynn Present watch party in New York, when I was watching it and I was seeing how things were going down, Maria took off running, okay? Charlie took off running. Like, they know their asses are on the line. That's what they're feeling. They're like, I got to win because they're going after each other, okay?
Yes, this is everything. This is it.
This is it. This is it. It felt like, like the Super Bowl, like, this is it. So Maria gets there and she figures out the puzzle. A little bit, like she's a little bit faster than Charlie. Then Mackenzie comes in, and Mackenzie's out here like kicking ass with the puzzle. Okay, she catches up and actually beats Maria. Okay, then they're reading the puzzle. Now here comes Liz Applebee's. Okay, on her way up to figure out her puzzle. But once she realizes that Kenzie has done her puzzle and she just needs to come figure out what the numbers in the holes are, she decides to help her. Now, before I go further, what is your thoughts? Because I have my thoughts, but I would love to hear your thoughts first. What is your thoughts on her helping her in the game in order to solidify the win?
She knew that she had no chance of catching up to them. Her and Kenzie are pretty tight. And she rather see Kenzie have immunity and make the decision as far as fire versus having someone else that really might not be considerate of Liz's feelings. So Liz did the right thing. That happened to me on Heroes versus Villains. Jerry was winning against Jerry was neck and neck against I think it was Colby and Jerry. Oh my God, it's been so long. It was back in 2010. And me and my uncle are losing, and I start throwing water to Jerry because I want Jerry to win. So we start throwing water to Jerry. Jerry wins the challenge, and she picks someone to go eat with her. And then Jeff says, pick one more person. And because I did that, she picked me too, you know? And I found an idol. So I was going to lose anyway. And I'd rather help someone I feel might potentially bring me along. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm starving.
Yeah.
So I feel like Liz made the right choice. Liz was never um, a physical threat. She hadn't, you know, she knew she was out of the game. And if she wanted someone to have it and she could help them get it, she was going to do it. And that's exactly what she did.
You know what? Until you said that now, um, I'm still in between. Until you said that now, I think it's hard for me to sit there and watch somebody who works so hard go out kind of that way because I understand helping your alliance. When you have an alliance, you want them to win and things like that. But it was like they didn't even have an alliance together.
Yeah.
So it
So
was
you're
very
saying because it happened to Maria, were you rooting for Maria? Were you wanted Maria to
I
get it
was
off?
I here's the thing. I was rooting for Maria, and the reason why I was rooting for Maria was just because of the sole fact that the she played a phenomenal game.
Oh,
To me, it was like
absolutely.
she played a phenomenal game. So I'd rather for her to go out knowing that she lost the competition fair and square, or she couldn't find the idol, or somebody played the idol, like something like that. I hate that she went out with Liz, and I would be honest. As a person, I believe she's a sweetheart. As a player, I ain't really care for Liz. Okay, so for me, I was just kind of like, what, what is going on? Like, how is that? It also kind of made me also think in my head, like, how is that fair? You know, like it was just kind of like,
Well,
I
you
just,
can
it
do,
was hard to
yeah.
watch.
So, but see, I see it differently. I see it as, let's say
Yeah,
I was Liz, and not to
yeah.
convince you, but I'm
No,
Liz.
I'm listening. That's why I went into this
Maria
conversation.
is always with Charlie and always with Q. She don't care about me. So you telling me rock, paper, scissors when you know I'm freaking starving? Which
Yeah,
I went out there, I got all these allergies. I knew what I was getting myself into. It's not her responsibility to feed me, but I know I'm not in her top three. And when Kenzie was on the bottom, so was Liz. And when me and you, Big D, are on the bottom, me and you gonna get tight. And for me and you to succeed, we need to do whatever we can to get rid of everybody else
yeah.
that's there. And
Damn.
so that's why Liz didn't help Maria, because Maria can win. And even if Liz had helped Maria, was Maria going to say, okay, you helped me. Thank you for giving me this immunity. Thank you for getting me closer to the victory.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm going to make sure you don't make fire. We don't know that. You know what I'm saying?
No, no,
So
we don't.
her
Yeah,
attachment was to Kenzie, who was also on the bottom a lot of the time. And
yeah,
they developed a friendship. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
These girls were on the bottom.
yeah. You know
That's where
what,
that came
Sandra?
from.
You just, and this
No,
is
I mean,
why. No, hold on. This is why you are who you are, and I'm gonna let you know now, girl. If I ever have to go compete again, I will be calling you for some advice
oh,
before I go
it
back in the
depends on the
competition
game.
show.
I might not know everything. I'm just saying, like,
But no, just that information alone, you have to think me and sometimes players and this is where I had to remember these things because and when I was playing the game, I played a lot with my emotions, and sometimes you got to understand that you can't play with your emotions. You sometimes just need to play strategically, like you said, and it's like, baby, we're at the bottom. I was at the bottom. You maybe play rock paper scissors shoot. Like I forget about those things that might still sit there in the back of your head, just like Liz, I don't care what anybody says. Liz gonna have hate for Q for the rest of her life. Okay, so it's like those little things that sit in the back of your head, and when it comes to a competition, it's like, oh, I need to get my revenge because you didn't pick me, and things like that that bond people. And I
yeah.
forget because
Well,
it was just hard because I love Maria, and I was like, oh
hmm
my god, like I love her, but it was just to see how like Liz to me was just it was just
yeah.
I don't know, it was
Well,
just
when
hard.
Liz was with Q in Atlanta, everybody was getting along. Once we're out of the game, once the $1 million is not involved anymore, it's like we can let our guard down and be real, real with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because that happens when I played with Fair Play season seven for 20 years or so. I mean, for like the first 12, 13, 14 years, like, you stay over there, I stay over here. The same with Russell. Me and him still don't. Me and Poverty, we
Girl,
just made up. So
no, girl, these beefs, I get it. Listen, I can understand. Listen,
yeah,
it took me until recently to understand fair play because, like, I had when we were in New York, I was like, player, get out of my face. Like, yeah, he's crazy, but I definitely understand. You know, it took me a while to make make those relationships and things like that, and I understand the how family is and how when you play when there's money on the line, baby, it's not personal. This is a game.
yeah.
I'm here to play a game. Just like you sign up for work, you go to work, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's your job. So I
And
understand that.
you know what? Going back to, because I had wrote down something that
Please, please tell me yes, please. I love this. This is great. This is way better than me saying what's going on this
remember
time.
when Liz said that her and Maria were like two ships passing in the night and they just got further apart and further apart. That
Yes.
told you right there that
That
Maria, in Liz's eyes, was never looking out for Liz. Therefore, you're not
mm,
my girl. You're not looking for me. You're not here to make, which we're not. We're not there to make anyone else succeed. But at the end of the day,
no.
I feel like Kenzie has my back more than you would have my back. So my loyalty is not with you. My loyalty, and we have alliances and friendships. Me, Christian Rupert, we were an alliance in Pearl Islands in 2003, and here we were at having a little mini reunion together. Me, Courtney, and Boston
Mm,
Rob on Heroes versus Villains. These are alliances that you build bonds with these people. And if I got to go down with the ship, screw it, I'll go down with the ship. But these
I
are
agree
my
with that.
people.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with going down with the ship because I was willing to go down with the cookout. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
if I have to go home, I'm gonna have to go home. I'm gonna try not to, but if I have to go home, then
Right.
I'm going
And
home.
you know,
I'm not
within
gonna
the
sell them
six,
out. Yeah,
yeah, with the six,
yeah.
that's like me playing traders. People are like, well, we're
Hmm.
here to get traders, but wait a minute, faithfuls have to fall too, because only four people can get to the end. So whether you're a
Okay.
trader or a faithful, we got to trim the fat.
Of
Somebody's got
course.
to go.
Yes, and I can't wait to get into that. Okay, so that happens. I'm glad I got your feedback on that because last night, I have my Twitter fingers be going off, and sometimes I had to remember to calm down because I literally tweet like I didn't like what Liz
What you
did. I
feel?
really,
Hmm.
yeah, I just didn't like that. It was just hard to watch because I'm like, not saying just because it could have been any of the players, and if somebody was doing so well and fighting, and it was just hard to watch, but. Liz ends up helping, Kenzie wins. We're going to speed all the way to Tribe, okay?
Hmm.
Maria is giving the speech that we already know. It like she's going home, okay? I know she tried to convince Liz, maybe about getting out Ben, but it just we got that speech. It's just what it is. They did make the right decision. Maria does go home, and now we're down to our top four. Also, I just want to shout out the jury. This jury is very what's the word? They're very active.
They
Like
saw everything, and they will call you
yes,
out on it. This jury was
yes,
something else. Yeah,
yes. I
they
feel
did.
like
They knew the mission. They did the assignment. They understood the assignment.
yes, because I'm like I would tell you this. I have watched. I was a little late in the game with Survivor, but of course, I watched all your seasons. Have I watched every season of Survivor? No, but I've watched all your seasons.
Hmm.
I watched Bryce's season, Kion. I watched Wendell's season, all that stuff, right? But just watching. Every since for a while now. Of course, I do see jury. They are good with facial expressions, but this jury's like talkative. Like I swear they be like talking during the time they're not supposed to be talking. Like I thought it was known that you cannot talk on jury, but I feel like they're just breaking the rules. Is that like a new era type of
They
being?
whisper, but the things that they're saying, the camera catches it and just adds it into,
Mm,
as far. But when it was time for the final tribal council, of course,
yeah,
they come out with their questions because the production tells you like come up with one or two good questions
yeah,
and
yeah,
make
yeah,
sure you
yeah,
guys are not asking the same thing.
yeah.
I've been told that people will write something out just to make sure that then you're sitting there like, oh my God, that was what I was going to ask. Like, we need to make sure we
Mm,
hit all the different little targets,
okay.
everything we want to know, discuss. And a lot of
Mm,
the times it's more or less like, why am I sitting here and you're sitting there? Like, yeah, I'm happy for you, but you know,
of
but they had
course.
some good questions
They
and
they
they
had some
weren't
good
playing.
questions. And before we get into that, we get to the next immunity. Ben wins. This immunity challenge that they had to do, Sandra, it was very interesting. I mean, Survivor really. I want to know who's making their games because you would think I'm watching the way they make these games. I'm like they have to be like somebody who helped with the Hunger Games because these games are like really interesting and very cool. I just was getting frustrated watching Liz and Charlie like not under like I know they were probably understanding. Maybe they weren't thinking, but I was just like, why can't y'all just get the rhythm to know that you're going to have to stop halfway because this ball's about to come down. But how did you feel about that little throw the ball up, wait for it to come down? You got to do the puzzle. What did you think about that?
It seems easy, but when you're there and you're exhausted, so much comes into play. And then with Charlie, I totally get it because back to traders at the cemetery where I got that big old gash on my damn head, I would dig four times and then hide from the light and dig and hide from the light, dig, hide from the light. But then they do a different thing with the lights. And I'm like, oh, so now I'm back to a different rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but yeah, he couldn't remember that, hey, you need to be mindful that you can't let that ball drop or you're going to be punished for it. But there's no telling what's going through his head. All he knows is that he's not in the lead. Ben is in the lead. He needs to catch up. And if I just put one more piece, maybe you know what like he's trying to get the advantage, but in doing that he screws up the two times and ends up having to wait for the
Yeah.
penalty and the time to
Because
lapse, and
Charlie could have won that. Charlie could have definitely won
he was
that.
close.
But Kenzie also is another one who comes out the woodworks, just a beast in this game. Also, I want to say the women in this game are phenomenal. Like they are literally top tier, like kicking ass. And I think no, I know we're gonna go all the way back. Taking out Hunter, smart move on everyone's part. Because if Hunter was still there, I think Hunter could have definitely won a lot of these games. But taking him out made everybody else open opportunity to win, and the women were kicking ass throughout this game. But to cut to Tribe, and before we cut to Tribe, I was trying to figure out this whole season what happened to Ben, because Ben was not getting a lot of airtime or a lot of showing him what he's doing, and it looks like they did like I guess a montage just to show what was going on with Ben with his night terrors and things like that.
His
I thought that
anxiety.
yeah, his anxiety and everything, and I thought that was very interesting because I was a little bit worried that they were just going to skip over it because talking to people in the Survivor family, when I would go to the parties and I would be like, what's going on with Ben? Where's Ben? What happened to Ben? And then people would tell me, he had anxiety, night terrors. I don't know if they know how to edit that into these episodes. So I was glad
Yeah.
to know that production still did do their job and their due diligence of making sure, we're going to show what happened to Ben throughout this season and what was going on with him, which was
Yeah.
great. He wins. I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked, but I was just kind of like, damn, he wins. He's talking about he's running on 2 hours of sleep, but I'm like, is this enough for him to win the game? Now I'm thinking, where are we at the end? I'm like, is this enough? But we cut to Tribe, as you said, jury. Woo! Listen, um, it's time for them to make fire. Ben has the choice. He decides
And
to.
Ben got lucky to win when he had to win because Liz was already thinking about what Maria had told her. Like, if Ben gets to the end, everybody likes him. All his friends are on the jury. He's gonna win. So had Ben not won, Ben might not be the shot caller. And the reason I feel we didn't see too much of Ben was because again, he wasn't calling the shots. Everybody else was. Everybody else was plotting and scheming and planning, and Ben was just going along with everything, which is not a bad strategy because look how far it got him. Nobody was scared of Ben. He went
That's
straight
true.
to the end. So he
Yeah.
won when he had to. But
Yeah.
they start to make fire, like you were saying.
No, no, I agree with you. No, no, now that you say that, I agree because I never saw Ben as like as someone like even from the outside point of view. I didn't see Ben as like as a threat. I just felt like Ben was there to rock and roll,
Yeah.
baby. Like,
Kevin was calling shots. Soda was calling shots. Tiffany was
yeah,
calling shots. Q was
yeah,
calling shots. Everybody had a lot to say. Venus, every
yeah,
chance she got, she was out there hustling and trying to
yeah.
make stuff happen. But
I
if
agree.
Ben was trying to just get along with everybody and rock out and whatever, then of course there's
Yeah,
not a lot to show because they got to show what we want to see. Who's
that is
pulling
true.
punches? Who's trying to make moves? Who's
Yeah.
trying to win?
Yeah, that's why I be trying to. That's why I tell people like it's hard if you do try to play a little bit of the background these competition shows because they might not give you that credit of if you're not caught that somebody else will be making bigger shots and you're thinking you're making a big shot and they're like, no, baby, like we gotta make a story. But
Hmm.
he ends up taking Charlie with him. I don't know if I would have done that. And maybe I learned like watching from the outside point of view. I would have definitely picked Liz to come with me if I was Ben, just because I would have felt like me and Liz had a little bit more of like I would feel like I could beat Liz based on my resume that I have if I was Ben. But you know what? He ends up picking Charlie. He takes Charlie
And
with
I
him.
think he picked Charlie because he had a big relationship with Charlie. So, and if you look back on when Charlie was saying, like, I don't know about this fire. Like, I know how to make fire, but if I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like saying, buddy, please don't put me in that
Yeah, yeah,
position.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Liz and Kenzie, let them do fire. So, like Charlie said at Final Tribal Council, he was like, I don't feel like I needed to. In other words, he said, I don't feel like I needed to make fire in order for you to know that I was here and wanted to win, and I've been playing the game, you know? So I think somehow in his conversation with Ben, he might have said, like, oh, I don't feel too good about fire. Kenzie makes fire, although she was frustrated. Liz was frustrated. But I think he didn't want fire to be the reason why he left the game. I would rather you just pick me straight up and don't put me in that position. And that's what Ben did for his friend. He didn't put him in the position to make fire and possibly potentially lose and not be sitting in the final three.
Okay, now I need to watch Survivor Review, Sandra, because I look at it completely. I feel better watching the review. I'm like, damn, I wasn't thinking that, and that makes
Well,
sense.
that's how the
Like,
fans are with traders when they're trying to be like, when I'm reading the comments, like, here we are, episode 9, and Sandra says she still doesn't know who the trader is. Look at my outfit. That's my day one outfit. That was day one. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know
Like,
they're so.
ask
I know
me so I can tell you.
production is so messy how they do things, and that's why I always have to keep that in mind. That's why I'm trying to ask questions. I'm like, don't spoil anything for me, but why?
Yeah,
Like that's why I was like, don't spoil anything when it comes to Ben. But why is Ben not being shown? And then when people were explaining to me, I'm like, okay, got it. I gotta
yeah,
keep that into consideration. But the fans don't know that, so it's just hard sometimes because production does play a key into our games. We could be doing some crazy things. Like trust me, I was definitely a victim of when it comes to production not showing me highlighting any of the shit I wanted to do. They were like, Big D's funny. That's how we're gonna catalyze Big
yeah.
D, and we're gonna show everybody else around the cookout being like these master movers. And I'm just like, okay, like no, I was definitely a master mover, but they didn't want to show that, and I learned. So now I know what not to do moving
Hmm.
forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go into fire. Kenzie ends
And
up
Liz.
winning.
Hmm.
Liz ends up going home. Now Liz, okay, now I'm going back to Liz, Sandra. Liz
Your
decides.
favorite.
Yeah, oh, let me tell you, she's my favorite. I can't wait for our Applebee's date at this point because she is just a millionaire, as she likes to say. But she goes out with this speech. I'm glad you guys got rid of me because I would have beat
Would have
all of
won,
you
yeah.
guys. I would have won this game. Is Liz delusional?
She is, and you saw Venus rolling her eyes like, girl, we will never give you credit for anything because, like, Liz had good intentions. She
Yeah,
had great plans in her head, but those
yeah,
plans never came to fruition. They never amounted to anything. It was just a lot of thoughts, but
yeah.
a lot of times what she had to say, she didn't have people behind her to make it happen.
True,
You got to
true.
have the people behind you that'll listen to you. Like me with the pool balls.
Of
Like
course.
you have to break it down for them to understand that. Listen, hey,
This
for
is a numbers
all of
game.
us to
Yes,
get
this
to
is a
the
numbers
end,
game.
we
Yeah,
need to look out.
yeah,
This is all
yeah,
of us, just
yeah,
temporarily, if it's just got to be for a couple of days, just
yeah,
briefly, and then
yeah.
we can move on from there. But
I agree with that. It's a numbers game, and if you're going to protect your numbers, you're showing them how we're going to get to the end. I mean, Tiffany was a prime example of that. Making sure she told exactly how all 6 of us were going to get to the end and how we were going to do it. So I definitely agree with that. But it was just very interesting to see her talk like that. And of course, like people used to call me delusional. I was like, I was never fucking delusional. But I felt like when Liz was doing that and watching that moment, I kind of like got a little bit of PTSD because I remember
yeah,
when I was speaking and that little Hannah, I love her to death, but when Hannah was laughing and I was like, that little laughed at me, I was so pissed when we went to commercial break. So I got to give Liz a little bit of credit because when you're when you're playing the game and you're blinded to what you might not know and things like that. Like we
well,
have all
and
the
those and whatever
information.
plans Liz is coming up with, they're great for Liz, but they might not be great for Sandra. They might
I
not be
agree.
great for Big D.
Yeah.
So just because it's your plan and it's great for you and it puts you in a great position, but wait a minute,
Yeah.
time out. What's it
Hmm.
gonna do for me? Because if it
Yeah.
don't do nothing for me, then guess what? We ain't doing that.
I
Like she was
agree.
harping on Q, 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 but guess what? Q was a number for Maria. Q was with Kenzie. Q was with Tiffany. So yeah,
Yeah.
you hate Q, but we don't. So
Right.
you might want
No.
him gone. We don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to
Mm-hmm.
make sense.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Wow. Okay. So we get to obviously the final three. The jury, like you said before, they had great questions. I was very like shocked to see how this jury was with their questions, and they were. Sandra, they were gamers. They were like, we're like, I'm not handing you over this money. When Tiffany said, I'm not playing that Taylor Swift or rock and roll type of stuff. I'm here to
Or
like
just because you my friend.
just because you're my friend, I'm here to let you know. I need to know why am I putting your name down to give you $1 million. Like I just found it very interesting. Do you think in their speeches, because I know there was so much that was happening, do you think there was a moment that maybe Charlie messed up or Kenzie might have messed up, or where you saw them winning when you knew they were going to win? Because unfortunately, love Ben, but I felt the whole entire game. I was not looking at Ben to win this game because of, like you said, the moves.
Yeah, I had a feeling Ben wasn't going to get too many points if he even got one. If anybody would have given him a point, it would have been Charlie, and Charlie's sitting there next to him. So that's not going to happen. I thought Maria was going to give Charlie a jury vote, to win the game instead of Kenzie. But I can relate to Kenzie because I had been working since the age of 14. I know what it's like to get out of school and don't even do my homework because I got to make sure I got to go to work. My mom was a single mother, but so I can relate to her and her struggles and how she's always looking out for everyone else. And when I met Kenzie, I felt that 1000%. Um, she's sweet to everybody, no matter what. And you can tell sometimes how, as children, we have to be the adults. And I saw that at a young age, she was put in that position. So we knew what she was going to do with her money. Yeah, Charlie was going to pay some of his college loans. He's going to pay for them anyway because he's going to be he's
We
a
all got
lawyer. He's going
college
to make his
loans.
money. But
We
at the
all
end of
got
the
them.
day, at the end of the day, Kenzie, if I was on that jury, between Kenzie, Ben, and Charlie, 1000% she was going to get my
Yeah,
vote. So it shocked me that Maria didn't waver and automatically give her vote to
Charlie.
Charlie, because the way I've always
Yeah.
played is like Big D. If you're my boy and you're at the end,
No,
you getting it. I don't care if
I
you
agree.
mumble
Yeah,
and speak in tongues when I'm asking you a question. You're going to get my
yeah,
boy out of loyalty.
yeah,
But because Kenzie has her head on her shoulders on right, like her head is on right,
yeah,
and she's a talker and
yeah,
she has good conversation. She can get out of anything, but she has stuff to back it up.
yeah,
She
yeah.
put in the work. She knew what to say. She got those votes. She earned them. She did it. Congratulations.
Yes,
So,
congratulations to Kenji. She definitely deserved it. And everything I'm saying, I'm repeating everything you're saying because I know I'm loyal to the T also. So like if you, Sandra, you you my girl, I don't give a fuck. They can say whatever they need to say. I'm gonna write your name down. And maybe that's just because of where we grew up, especially us being POCs, growing up, in the areas that we grew up, it's like loyalty means a lot to us. So it's just very interesting to see that how Maria did. But I also think because of her and Charlie kind of breaking that like, hey, we're going after each other. I think that kind of made her mind switch. I think if they were loyal all the way to the end, maybe it could have been a little different. But
but wait a minute. But what
yeah,
what is Maria expecting out of loyalty? What Maria wanted was like, it's okay for me to write your name down. And if you're gonna be upset, you be upset, but you're still my friend. But it's not okay for you to write my name down. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah,
because she ended up, see, when Charlie didn't go home and he should have went home, now
yeah,
she's in panic mode. Charlie, can I?
yeah.
When they got back from tribal council, Charlie, can I talk to you?
I know.
Oh, because Q's gone and you got busted because you wrote my name down?
Oh no.
So I don't know if Maria was really at the end of the day upset because she went home too, because we'll
Yeah.
never know. She might never
No, we
admit
never
to it.
know.
But
Yeah.
it was okay for you to write my name down. But when I wrote
Mm.
your name down, now I'm the bad guy. Now I don't deserve your vote. Although me and you were hand in hand.
I
We did
know.
everything together. There was no
Oh.
difference really from your game to my game.
I agree. Wow. Okay, so wait. Okay, so now we have a whole nother season of Survivor 46 down. Congratulations, Mackenzie. We have 47 coming up. We're not going to get into that. Of course, it'll come out this fall. I love the Survivor schedule because we always know when it's coming out. I just want to ask season 50, would you go and go compete?
I think look, hold on, time out. You saw at the end of the finale where they were talking about people that have quotes, and I'm sitting there like, I can get
Yes,
out too. What the
yes,
fuck? And then
yes,
Queen stays Queen.
yes, yes. Oh my God, I
Yes, I
forgot about
am
that
the
part.
most quotable survivor.
Baby,
I
you're an
didn't.
icon. You're a legend.
I
It's
didn't
just like if
set
I sat
out.
there and said, if I'm watching one of the Housewives, I'm like, oh, Nene Leakes. If I'm thinking about Tiffany Pollard from Love and Hip, or from Flavor of Love, like when I think of Survivor, I think of Sandra. Like it's just you're very quotable. It's just what it is.
Yeah, so I text my husband. I was like, "Oh my God, they showed me two times in season 46 at the finale." But moving on to season 50, I think I'm done. I People say Sandra. I don't think that they would call me. I'm
I don't
not
like that.
Maria. I am not an athlete. I have never been an athlete. I'm just a social butterfly. Um, I don't think even my tribe would want me around because you want strong people that help the tribe move forward.
Yeah,
I have experience. I can help you navigate the game. I can tell you because I've been just about in every single situation that can come from Survivor
baby,
after 6 seasons.
160
You know what I'm
some. Hey,
saying?
baby, that's a
I can
long time.
mentor you.
Yeah.
But could I go and compete now at 50 years old? I'd rather leave it to games like traders where I can go to the castle,
Of
do a
course.
little mission, and come back and pig out with all
I
the
get it.
food and
Yeah.
live that lavish lifestyle and not
You earn that. You
be
earn that.
miserable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
Like
earn that.
House of Villains, call me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I want it easy, and Survivor's not easy. Even with 26 days, it's not gonna be
No,
easy.
it's not easy. It's not easy
And
at
I'm
all.
not young. I'm 50 years
Yeah.
old.
So let me ask you this: with the, which we all know, which we're very, we're all excited. What do you hope season 50? Because can I be honest? And I hope you do. I hope you don't get upset at me when I say
No, no,
this.
no. Say what you gotta say.
I don't want to see winners on 50. I feel like we've already did a winner season. I don't want to see 50 having any winners. And the reason why I say that is because these players that are hungry, and nothing against winners, not saying that winners won't play, but winners also are kind of like, if they're not saying they're not hungry, it's just kind of like they're kind of like, if I go, oh, I won, I'm going out type of thing. Where these
Yeah.
players are like came in second or third, or someone like, and I'm just giving Charlie for example because you could read it on his face last night. Someone who lost by one vote or something crazy happened. Like those are the things I think about. The players that went out early. Because to be honest with you, I'm on the campaign. If Bryce Isaiah is not on season 50. I am not going to be watching season 50 because I need him to
You say
compete
that now,
again.
but if you're going to be podcasting, you got to have, you got to have stuff to talk about. You say
I
that
know, but it's
now.
unfair. No, he needs a chance to compete again. But I just don't want
Yeah,
to
but you
see.
might have another friend that's on there that you might want to end
That
up
is
rooting
true.
for and cheering on. So you
I
can't say
know.
that. But
I
listen,
know.
for me, when it comes to season 50, there's so many good players that played good games but didn't win. For
Okay.
example, when they were talking about like Australian versus the US Survivor,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like, wait a minute, we got Jonathan, we got Rick Devens, we got I want to name people that have never played a second time.
yeah.
This season, take Maria, take Charlie.
I
You know what I'm saying?
know. Yeah.
Um,
And I love
uh,
Jonathan Young. I love
Take
Jonathan
some
Young.
of the girls that have played on the challenge. Take Chanel. Take
Yes.
well, Michaela's
Desi.
played like 3 times already on Survivor.
Michaela's probably
Um,
done with it, to be honest. She's like, girl, I'm done with
like
it.
there's so many players
Yeah, I
from
agree.
across. There's 700 players.
And
Give me
there's going to be
46 seasons.
no,
By then,
yeah,
50
because
seasons. Yeah, 49
yeah, because
seasons.
I think if reality is production wise, I feel like their cutoff is this 46. They're like that we're gonna pick everyone before that. I don't see them picking
Yeah,
anybody from 47 or 48 or 49. So
yeah.
I'm just like, okay, so I agree with you. There's so many players, and that's what I get
Omer
at.
that played with Marianne. You know, there's so many. Jesse
Wow.
that played
With
recently on like 44 or
yes,
something like
yeah.
that. Like Carla.
I would see James Jones too. You know, I think of James Jones. I think of oh my God, who else am I thinking of that just came to my head? Yeah, Carla. I'm thinking about all these. Obviously, this is the new group of waves, but I noticed iconic players in the past I want to see to come back and play too that did not win or maybe went out or made a bad move and could have won the game. You know, I think about that. So that's why I'm a strong believer when they do All Star seasons. And I said the same thing about Big Brother, Sandra. I was like, if they do a Big Brother season 30, I don't want any winners there. I do not. I feel like when you have people that are hungry who do not win,
Hmm.
they don't care. Not say, no, I'm gonna say this. They don't care about their reputation. They're like, I have not won. I'm gonna cross you over. My grandmother died. They will make up whatever lies they
Yeah.
need to make it in the game. So, I just want to hear your thoughts. If they do call you, I of course would love to see you compete again. But I get it. You're on a whole different level now. Like you need to be doing House of Villains. You need to be doing Traders. And to get into Traders, and we're not gonna take up too much time, Sandra. It was great watching you on Traders. How was your experience overall? Like coming back in the game, like give me a little bit of what you were thinking. Do you feel like
Now
you
I'm just
executed your plan that you
I
wanted
I
to?
feel like I did a good job. As
Okay.
I look through Reddit, they're like Sandra broke the game. They probably didn't expect the kind of strategy that we brought into season two so early. They probably thought it would happen down the line, but I did my homework, and us gamers are different. You know what I'm saying? People that play these games, Big Brother, The Challenge, Survivor,
Yeah.
we different.
Sandra,
So
I love the way you played. You played exactly how I would hope I play if I ever went
I
onto
hope
another
I did
show.
enough to get called back for like an all-star season, because no matter what they throw at me, no matter what rules they change, I'm ready for all of it.
You know what? Between me and you, I met some people from the traders over the course of a couple, my travels with the Bryson Window present parties, and some of them said that I think they're saying that maybe, and this is just a rumor, that season 5 might be an all star season when they get to 5.
Oh,
So
but that's
it's
good
some.
because this season they're already going to do two a year. So that only puts me at five, would be next year. I'm all
Yes.
for it. I'm all
Okay,
for it.
yeah. So I would love to see. Can I be honest? I would love to see you compete again on Traders, and of course, I would like for you to be a trader. Okay, just throw that out there. But if not,
I
whatever
would
you
love to
are.
be a trader too, but you know what? I've said it so much that I think I'd be having to go. It would be an uphill battle for me because people would assume I'm a trader or
Mm-hmm.
not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like the traders have the biggest advantage in the game because they
They
only have to
do.
worry
Don't you?
about banishment. So who wouldn't want to be a trader? Um, but it would be an uphill battle for me,
It
because I
would.
think who I am and what I bring to the game automatically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened when we went in there. They started like, oh, you guys are gamers. Oh, you were on Survivor like Sari who won. Oh, we got
Yeah.
to look out for you. Like, oh, wait a minute. So hold up.
Yeah.
Now so you're forced to play from the jump
Mm-hmm.
a different kind of game,
Sandra,
because they're
can
already looking to
you?
get you.
That is now, if I'm correct, you have been on two Emmy top shows now, Survivor and Traders. What you bring to the table, I agree. It's great to watch. Like even when I'm talking to you now, I consider myself. I'm like, man, I'm a gamer, and then I talk to you, and I'm like, I need to be taking notes. So it's
Oh,
just it's just great to see how much knowledge and things that you have. And I do understand what traders has been feeling like when they pick the cast. Not saying that they're not picking people from like back in the day. I feel like they're picking OG players because some of us some of us young, babies want to play. Like I'm like, put me on, I want to play. But as I'm realizing, it seems like they're picking people from a little bit of that been in the competition world for a while. So, hopefully in the future, if it makes it to season 10 or something, then they'll call me when I'm like nice and 40 something years old at that point or something. But it's just great to see you guys. And I would love, like, is there anybody who would love to see come and play with you, or you would love to watch and see play again on Traders? I mean,
Well,
obviously you,
traders
but who
asked
else?
us actually when we were doing
Oh,
our
wow.
reunion stuff and we were doing stuff in New
Yeah.
York. They were like, "Who would you recommend from the Survivor world?" And for me, it was like, well, in keeping with what you along the lines of them going, because Sari and Stephanie were from Heroes versus Villains.
Yeah.
Me and Parvati were from Heroes versus Villains. So I was like,
Okay.
in theme with what you guys are going, I would nominate Courtney and Jerry because those two, those they're kick-ass girls. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like,
wow. Okay. Okay.
yeah, they
Yeah.
can hold their own. Um, so I hope they listen to me and maybe invited one of
I
my
think they
girls out there
will.
to kick ass in the castle because I know that they can and they would.
Yes.
Um, but I think that they're going to branch out and bring people from all across different franchise because those people bring the fans. And then
No,
the
of
fans
course.
want to see us go against each other and see. But so far, the gamers are taking it. Sari
Yeah.
won first season. The
CT and
challenge,
Trishelle.
CT and Trishelle.
Yeah.
Gamers, gamers are the ones to watch, and they
I
have an
agree.
uphill battle as gamers.
No, they definitely are going to have an uphill battle. I love the how the cast dynamic is in Trader, and I will say this, and it's hard for me to say because I know we come from our CBS family, but I mean they're doing it. This is like top level. This is a whole nother production value and what they offer. It's top level. So I can only pray for not just myself but anybody in my Cookout Alliance, to make it hopefully in the future onto it. But I think it's just great to see, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. And I agree with you, Sandra. To be honest, I've been waiting for. Listen, I want to get on House of Villains at this point. I'm trying to do House of Villains, and now they just came out with the GOAT, and I was like, oh my god, the GOAT is so silly and so stupid. It has my name written all over it. So now I'm
Oh, I
like,
have to watch it. I
what?
didn't. I mean, I knew Wendell was on it. I just didn't know when it started, and I've been hearing talk about it since
Yeah,
yesterday.
episode 5 just came out
Oh,
today.
okay.
So I will tell you this, you will love it. It's very easy to watch. It's very like you don't have to feel pressure, but of course I will say, Davon and Wendell being there. I mean, it's already in the pudding, okay?
Yeah, yeah. It's different. It's different when you
When
come
you put
from.
gamers onto a show that, with other people, it's very interesting. So I
Yeah,
feel
like,
like
boo,
I
we already did that. We've already been there. This is how we take care of that. It's
correct.
fast.
Correct. And I think that these shows now with these different networks, I've been trying to tell everybody, that's why my ass been trying to bust my ass in the gym every day. But I'm like, with these shows, there's so many more opportunities for all of us to be able to get opportunities to compete again, which I love that. Because I know CBS sometimes are like, oh my God, there's 700 Survivor players. There's probably 400 Big Brother players. And they're like, how do we give these people opportunities to compete again? So I'm very thankful for Traders and Now to Go and then House of Villains. And there's probably going to be more shows, I think, that are coming out, giving players opportunities to come and play and then also getting a chance to play either against each other or playing with people that are just normal that are now coming over to the world. I love that. So I
Yeah.
hope they continue doing that because all of us, we all need jobs. We all need opportunities to compete again. We all need money. So,
Every couple of years, we need that dough.
but since
For
you know
now,
me,
we'll
I'm over
stick
here
to
waiting.
cameos. For now, we'll stick to cameos.
Right, and my
Get your
cameos are done.
cameo.
Yes, get your camera from Sandra because my cameos are done. They were like, Big D, you did your season. All right, we done with you. So, but you know me, I've been waiting for. Of course, I'm the only cook I remember that hasn't got a chance to compete again. So I'm like manifesting that this year or next year is my year to come back just to compete on my own and see how I do when I don't have my alliance and see if my
Yeah.
skill sets are what I thought would work. But Sandra, please, what are you up to next? I know, of course, everyone's already probably following you. If not, please shout that out. But what's your next journey in life? Like, what are you working on? I would love to know. I want to dig your head because I'm learning so much. Like, what's next for you?
I really don't have like any projects or anything going on. There's people that
Okay.
contact me for gigs here and there.
Yeah.
I just came back, like I said, from San Diego. It was a little mini reunion. Krista released her book, so me and Rupert were there for support, but also to meet with fans and bring in fans to come. Um, but there's nothing in the pipelines. Like I really don't, and that's the thing about me. I come home and I'm back to normal, and then somebody calls me, and then I roll out. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really
Yeah.
have. I got the Traders Cruise. We have the cruiseofdeception.com,
Oh,
and
okay.
that cruise is in April of 2025, the last week of April through the first couple of days of May.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were doing a live earlier at the airport about that. And so we're going to play the Traders on the Royal Caribbean ship. It's the fourth biggest ship in the water. And we're going to go to like Jamaica and Coco Key, and Haiti is listed, but I think they're going to change that port because of what's
Okay.
going on. I don't know
Yeah,
if by the
yeah.
time we go next year, if it's
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But we have a Traders Cruise going on, and all you have to do is put down a $400 deposit to hold your spot, and you have to have your total paid by January 2025. So you have
Okay.
like, when we first started, it was a whole year. Now it's not a whole
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Um, but that's for two people. So Big D, if you were going with someone from the cookout, you just got to put
Yeah.
down 200 a pop. So
Okay.
Janelle has her own team. Rachel has her own team. Those
Oh,
are
I
from
love
Big
that.
Brother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that.
Um, and then Bergie has his team from Love Island. Peter from The Bachelor has a team. I have my team. Stephanie from Survivor has her team.
Oh
And
my
then a
God, this
bunch
is
of,
like a heavy hitter of people that are
well,
going.
and they have a bunch of players from the first season, but they
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have a
yeah.
lot of followers, so they haven't been
Yeah.
selling a lot of spots.
Yeah.
So what you do is they have a prize pot of $50,000,
Okay.
and so it's about 1,000 some people playing, and there's going to be people selected in every team to be traders, and then they're going to do the murdering, and then there's going to be missions where we go and try to find shields.
Oh, I
um,
love that.
so
Okay.
every day for 3 hours we're going to play traders on the cruise.
I love that. That is so cool. That is really cool. Like fans are going to eat that up. That is great.
Yeah,
I
and it's
love
called the
that. I
Cruise
love
of
that.
Deception.
Wow, wow. Okay, I'm here for it. Oh, look, Sandra, I'm not going to hold up more of your time. I feel like I feel like this was my favorite, best episode. Like, this is crazy to have you here, but I'm just so happy we got a chance to do this. You know, this is also, in case you guys don't know, this is my last episode until Big Brother. So I will be going on vacation for a little bit because, you know, when that Big Brother starts up, it's like chaos. But just to kind of close out the season and the show with you, it's just amazing. And Sandra, where can everyone follow you at, or
I'm
get a
on
cameo, of
Instagram.
course?
Yeah, I'm at Instagram, Sassy SDT. As a matter of fact, you don't know this, but the Hispanics, we watch La Casa de los Famosos, which is the Big Brother, but it's more like the Big Brother with the UK version, because on
Oh,
this Big Brother, the famous people that speak Spanish and it's just a house playing Big Brother. A lot of
yeah.
them are stars and singers and stuff like that. But it's different in the fact that when they have to do their, not the missions, what do you guys call them?
Had a household
Well,
competition,
they have a head of household, but that head of
veto
household has to,
competition.
the vetoes. Yeah, okay.
Yes, the veto. Yeah.
So when they do the vetoes, whoever wins the head of house, okay, let me not mess up.
No,
When
take your time.
they have a community, like they have a challenge that they have to do. Head of, well, not head of household. Okay, the other one, the
So let me
veto.
go. We have the head of household. So one person wins, then they nominate two people. Then we have the veto, which is six players. So the two people that were nominated plus the rest of the household, and then they fight for the veto to try to
Yeah.
take
Well,
you know.
it's still Big Brother, but when the person wins the head of household, they have to pick someone to share their house with. But everybody has
Oh,
in the house has to nominate who's gonna get put up. So
oh,
it's usually 3 to 4 people, but if there's a tie with points, because I have to go in there and I have to say, I'm Sandra. I'm gonna
Yep,
give
Big
Big
D.
D 2 points, and I'm
Yep.
gonna give Tiffany 1 point. So there's 20 like two people in the house, and everybody comes and they add the points. But if there's 5 people that get 4 points, then now there's 7 people nominated. As the head of household, I only get to say one person. Then the fans, 20, 30 million people across the United States vote because that's their big brother. Vote for who to save, and the
Yeah.
person with the worst score, they go home week after week after week. But it's really funny because these are artists and singers and chefs and really famous people. They
Wow.
don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They don't know how to use coffee machines, and I love it.
So you know what, Sandra? Now you said this. There was a season where fans were actually involved, and they pick like who went on the block and then who can go home and things like that. I do like when the fans get interactive. I wish we went back to the part of we sometimes do like somebody can get a power, but that sounds better. Having the fans more involved, especially with a show like Big Brother, because they're watching it 24 hours, 7 days
Yeah.
a week. So I mean, that sounds very interesting. So I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna
No,
add it
I
to my
like you
list.
got. Well, you can't watch it because it's in Spanish, and I don't know if they
Okay,
have
I'll put the
subtitles.
subtitles
But
on. I spell on.
but
Si, hola,
yeah,
¿cómo
look,
estás?
The UK Big Brother is like that too, because Ekansu left the Traitors Castle, and
Yes, I
after
heard
the
that she went to
reunion,
celebrity.
she went to the UK Big Brother. And
Yes.
she told me, and I didn't know it was like that. And I'm like, oh my God, La Casa de los Famosos is just like that. Like
Yeah.
they be fighting over food. Some they hide peanut butter. Like it's a fight for the jelly. Like it's for real. The almonds. It's a whole fight over
Girl, I'm gonna have to
everything.
check it out. I'm gonna have to check it out because that's what everybody always wants. Everybody always wants that old school. When Big Brother used to have a little bit more fighting and stuff like that. Just same thing with like Survivor. Everybody always wants that drama and whatnot. And I think at the end of the day, it's great to see that there's shows out there that still are providing that type of entertainment. And I think that we'll get to that. I think we'll get back to that with all these shows that are happening and bringing back these old school players. Because Sandra, I mean, I think you're a traitor.
You're a fucking traitor. You're the biggest fucking
Straight
traitor
traitor.
here. Look, that broke my heart when it happened. Actually, I was like, "What? That's my girl. Where's this coming from?" But
I
because I was a
loved it.
faithful, I was innocent.
Yeah.
Parvati and Dan weren't, but me and CT were innocent. Like that came out of nowhere.
I'm
You're
gonna
a
tell you
fucking
now. I
traitor.
don't know how, and I'm gonna end on this. Ain't no way. I love you, but I would looked at you and Dan, and I would have said, one of those two are traitors, and we're gonna have to hit both of them. I don't care. We
Yeah,
got to get one. If we don't get one, we got to get the other. No matter what, and that's just based on knowledge. That's just based on same thing with Johnny. I would have thought Johnny was a traitor too. I would have said these
yeah,
people that have these heavy names and these things to their titles,
yeah. The heavy
get one.
hitters.
Got to be traitors, and then the rest of us can figure it the hell out. But one of
But you
those
know
two,
what? When they didn't pick me as a traitor, my ego, I was like, oh, I just know they didn't pick Parvati. Which Alan didn't. Alan didn't, but then the
girl,
traitors
that's
went
what's
and
so
picked
funny
her.
too. Because I
But I
would have
was
said the
like,
same
oh, if
thing.
he didn't pick me, I'm the two-time winner here. He ain't gonna pick her, which he didn't. But then that night they picked her. And I
Yes.
told Phaedra, why you didn't pick me? I was your girl. And she said, girl, after Dan and Parvati played me, and after they did me so dirty so many times and tried to throw me under the bus, I couldn't trust no gamers. So, but I would have loved to have been a traitor and
Are
help her
you?
maneuver the game.
Oh, of course. Let me ask you this: Are you and Phaedra? I know probably because you're working with these people, you're probably not friends. But do you guys communicate it after the game or anything like
Yeah,
that?
as a matter of fact, Phaedra does call me.
Oh my
Hold on,
god,
I'm
I
gonna
love
go.
that. Oh my god.
Phaedra does call me out of everyone. I mean, because we're selling the Traders
Yeah,
Cruise, I'm
of course,
constantly in communication with like
of
Janelle
course, of
and
course.
Trishelle and Bergie and Peter. Parvati and I spoke last week, but it was about a gig. But Phaedra and I spoke. It's probably been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I saw something where she was at, and I sent her a message, and it was, oh, she posted about her son's birthday. So I said,
Yeah. Yeah.
"Happy birthday to him," whatever. And then she
Yeah.
texted me back. She's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Phaedra is a very, very busy person, but she
Of
still
course.
replies.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I love that this show has opened doors for you and everybody else in our community because I love Bravo. I love the Housewives. I've loved Phaedra my whole entire life. She's up there with Nene and I just the fact that I even seen her through the TV. Same thing with Sheree. Love Sheree also. But just the fact that you were able to go play with them and then y'all were able to gel because real recognized motherfucking real. So if y'all were able to gel together, it just like makes my heart
And the crazy
just
thing is, I don't watch
explodes.
nothing on Bravo. I didn't
I
know who they were. I've been for years had Dan's phone number, Janelle's phone number, Parvati's phone number, and that was it. I knew
yeah.
who Bananas was, and I knew who CT was because my kids
Yeah, of
watched the
course.
challenge.
Of
I
course,
didn't
of
know who
course.
Trishelle was, but I had never had communication or nothing with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But Sheree and Peppermint and Peter, we were in the car on the first day. We made an alliance called THC. The high, yeah. So listen, so I like I said, episode one took 3 days to film, right? So we were in
Yes.
the same clothes for 3 days.
Peppermint came on the show a couple months ago, and whew, she spilled a lot of tea. So if people did
Yeah.
not watch
So
that
we were,
episode,
yeah.
she went in and explained. Like I felt like I was so scared. I was like, they ain't never gonna call me from Trader. She telling me everything behind the scenes and everything. I was so scared during this interview,
Oh
but she
Lord,
spilled the
dog.
tea.
Throw your
Yeah.
hat, throw your name in the hat. You never know. But yeah, we had an alliance called THC because we were looking for a
Yeah.
name, but they kept parking us in front of this church that was called the Highland Council Church. And I said,
Hmm.
that's our name, THC. And we laughed about it. And I was like, it
Um.
was so perfect because they were like, we need an alliance name. We've been in this car for
Mhm.
3 days. We have to take care of each other. And I was like, and Peppermint said, we need an alliance name. And they were throwing out names like Scotland names. And I'm like, no, it's going to come to us. It's going to come to us. And
Yeah.
then we look, THC. That's us.
I love that. Wait, you brought up something before. House of Villains. You said you would do House of Villains.
I think I
Um,
would
I,
because it looks
see,
fairly easy. The only
I know,
thing
but I'm
with
about to say,
me,
do you consider yourself a villain? I don't think you're that evil because the people that
but
are picking from Survivor are like, I
but
mean,
not
what's his name's on
everybody,
it?
Richard has, but not everybody that was on there was like villain. You know what I'm saying? They just be
Yeah.
talking shit and doing shady stuff and being messy. I
Yeah.
could do that in my sleep. I could be messy. I'm just blunt. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
like the Larsa comment. I shouldn't have said that. You know what I'm
Baby,
saying?
no, I
It
don't care
just
what
came
you.
out.
No,
It
Sandra,
just
I
came
don't
like
care.
I could do that.
Sandra, I don't care what you say. That fucking comment, I had it in my notes I was reenacting it multiple times on the podcast with Tiffany when we were sitting there talking about it. I
Had
can't.
they not played that on TV, I will put my hand on the Bible and tell you I never said that because I did not remember saying it. And a
And
lot of the
this is
stuff
why
I
I
did on
love you.
Survivor too. There's so many things I've done, and I'm like, did I do that? No, I didn't do that. Then I see footage, and I'm like, oh shit, I did that.
That's how it be.
It
And trust
just
me, I had to watch back some of the stuff I do, and I go, "Damn, I said that." They're like and for me, there's cameras all the time, so it's like I couldn't hide from nothing. I was like, "Damn, they catching everything."
yeah.
But you
I'm
know
like,
what, Sandra, this was great. It really, even though I know we recorded, it just felt like me, you just chit chat and
anytime.
cackling anytime. But listen,
You just got to tell me
please.
early so I can make sure that I don't got stuff going on.
I was willing. I didn't care if you told me 12 midnight. I was like, girl, I get it. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep, so I get it. But just continue doing what you're doing. Thank you for just like opening the door for everybody. You've been in the game for a very long time, and you have changed the game. You've also changed the trader game. You changed the survivor game.
I might have broke the
And
Traders game.
with the
No,
pool balls, because
they
because
got new
anyone pulls
rules now.
because anyone pulls out some pool balls, I'm gonna look at them and go, Don't pull out no fucking pool balls.
Yeah, they were taking notes. They were taking.
Yes, but just thank you for everything.
Thank
I
you.
want to, God bless to you. God bless your family, everything you're doing. I know you're doing some traveling. Have safe traveling. And, just being like, a good person for the CBS family. Like, it
Thank you.
really does
Am I
mean a
going to
lot.
see you in December down in Orlando? You're going to come
So
out to
wait, you know what?
Over the Edge?
No one reached out to me about Over the Edge. I didn't even know what it was. So I
Yeah,
was
so
waiting to see.
it turned
Yes.
into Over the Edge.
Yeah.
And then you just picked a charity that you want you know
Okay.
how we got to
Raise
get at
money.
least a
Yeah.
thousand dollars.
Yeah.
You pick whatever charity you want to. So I didn't have a charity, so I decided to do the animal shelter here in Fayetteville, and
Okay.
so did my daughter. But now that I spent the weekend with Rupert, I said, Rupert, next time I'll do Rupert's kids because
Yeah.
he needs help. He says the government doesn't help him with Rupert's kids, and they take the kids that are
Mm,
coming out of juvenile detention and women coming out of
no.
jail and trying to help them and give them a place to sleep so they're not homeless and help them get jobs and stuff. So I'm like, Rupert, next time I'll pick your charity,
Yeah. Yeah.
to
That'd be nice. I love that. I love that we get a chance to pick this time. I think that's good. And I
yeah,
love that it seems like now with the transition of competition shows, yes, we're getting paid to do competition shows. We're getting a chance to compete and win some money, but there's also opportunity to give to charities, which I love
yeah,
that. I think
and
that's
do good.
important. Yeah, and do
Absolutely.
good.
Plus,
Do good.
I always tell Omar, like, Omar, I love the charities and everything, but this is my one time a year where I take vacation to see my reality family.
I
You know
know,
what I'm
girl.
saying?
When we were down
Because
there
at the
last
end
time,
of the day, I just want to see them, be with them, talk to them, party with them, and then
we
wait
had
for
a
the
good
next
time.
year. Hmm.
We had a good time, and I remember just I could not. You don't understand how that just little old me, little old me. Black boy from Philadelphia, like I get it. Everybody's like, "Oh, your dad's smoking Joe Frazier." Cool, got it. I've always loved that. Like, always want to make sure I keep him proud and stuff like that. But little old me from Philadelphia, like people in Philadelphia only knew me, and I didn't think with me going on to Big Brother that people were gonna know me. And someone like you, as a legend, when I walked in the room and knew who I was like, I've made it. Like I felt like I
Yeah,
made it with that.
you
That was the
have.
moment for that. But that was the moment for me where I was like, oh my god, I made it. Like I'm a part of this like realm and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So it's just crazy to see just like a full circle. And when I saw you on Traders, I just remember being like, she's about to run circles around these motherfuckers. They don't
They
even
got
know.
me at
They
the
don't
end though,
even know.
but
They did, but you know what? Let me tell you something. I appreciate this is one thing that I think people forget. I appreciate your loyalty with Phaedra. You were loyal with Phaedra and the people that you were loyal to. Even if one of them were still a traitor, you still were loyal with them. And I appreciate that. Because I'm not gonna lie, even if you could tell me till I'm blue in the face, Tiffany is a traitor, I would look at you guys and say, I don't see it. And it's not gonna happen. Like
yeah.
how
And
I
even if she
in a
is,
way.
that's your girl. She's
That's
protecting
what
you. She ain't coming after
correct.
you.
Correct. So I think you played a phenomenal game. And a lot of these shows, I don't know how Traders was, but a lot of these shows, I mean, long you stay, more pay you get. So
Oh,
it's like
absolutely.
it's
I
like
was all about that money bump. Like, ooh, I just
yes.
got to make it to the next episode, and
Yes.
it went up. Like, yeah, let's be real.
Correct. So I think people forget that. But look, please go have fun. Enjoy your time. Thank you so much. Guys, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Please share. I will see you guys again in July for the Big Brother cast reveal. Survivor 46. Thank you so much, Survivor family, for allowing me to be a part of y'all family and recap and talk about y'all show. Until next time, guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye.